You think you can trespass on my property and lay hands on my child? That single thought ignited in my mind before I even saw what was happening. Before we explore this story, let me know which country you're watching from in the comments. I'm curious how far this account will travel. The intimidation began months earlier. It started with documents slipped beneath my door, anonymous, printed entirely in capital letters. Unapproved vehicle on premises. Shed organization violates community guidelines. Reporting to HOA board. The ironic part? My roadway didn't even fall under HOA jurisdiction. I verified municipal zoning personally. The boundary concluded 3 blocks south, but reasoning never stopped power-obsessed individuals with paperwork. Then came the unfamiliar faces. A man with photographic equipment positioned outside one morning pretending to document the vicinity. A woman I'd never encountered knocking at my entrance with safety assessment forms that didn't contain a single municipal emblem. And throughout everything, the identical name kept emerging in whispers. The HOA compliance team. I dismissed it initially. I'm an active duty special operations soldier. My timetable is demanding, and I don't possess time to struggle with suburban bureaucracy. My 12-year-old son, Liam, understood the rules. Don't engage with strangers, maintain the gate secured, and contact me if anything feels unusual. But that morning, I discovered that danger doesn't await authorization. I departed for approximately 25 minutes, a home improvement store trip, nothing significant. Liam was in the garage repairing the motorcycle we'd been rebuilding together. I recall his grin when I left, oil on his fingers, a tool hanging from his pocket. When I returned into the driveway, everything appeared normal, until I detected it. A single muted impact, then my boy's voice, sharp, alarmed, "Release me." My heart sank. I rushed through the side entrance and turned the corner into the garage. There was only one individual. A man with body art, blue shirt with block letters, HOA compliance on the garment. He had one grasp on Liam's arm, pulling him toward the driveway. Liam's face showed red from a strike. That was enough. "Stop," I shouted, my boots striking against the concrete. The man turned, startled, his imitation badge reflecting in the light. Up close, it was worse. A flimsy plastic tag with no agency seal, no identification digits, nothing authentic about it. He sneered. "This residence is undergoing inspection. The juvenile is being interviewed about unapproved." I interrupted him. I wrapped an arm around his neck, utilized my mass to drive him into the concrete wall, and felt him reach for the blade at his waist. I tore it loose with my arm. Metal balanced on flooring. He struggled, and I drove my shoulder into his ribs. The initial impact fractured something, a rib, and he gasped. I twisted his limb with a controlled, brutal rotation until it bent the incorrect direction and broke with a dry, humiliating crack. He screamed a shocked animal noise and collapsed to his knees. I maintained him down sufficiently to ensure he couldn't rise. Restraints tightened around his wrists. He went limp, breathing shallow and ragged. I pulled him upright by the clothing, his damaged arm secured. "Who are you?" I demanded. "Who dispatched you?" He winced, teeth bloodied. "She can tell us everything," he muttered. "Said you'd resist. Said to make it appear like a safety verification." "Who?" I barked, shaking him firmly enough to rattle his imitation badge. His eyes moved toward the street, fear cutting through the discomfort. "Patricia," he whispered. "She stated you'd learn your lesson." Before I could press further, tires crunched outside. Slow, deliberate, a pair of headlights rolled to a halt at the curb. "She's arriving," he breathed. Patricia emerged from the vehicle like she owned the evening, clipboard positioned under her arm. Smile rehearsed and cold. "Good evening," she trilled, voice sugary and artificial. "I thought I'd visit to see if you'd cooperate." I pushed the man back, so he slammed onto the driveway. Liam crept behind me, eyes wide and trembling. "Dad?" he whispered. Patricia continued, pretending not to observe the man moaning on the ground. "We're simply attempting to maintain the neighborhood secure. You should have remained off my property," I snapped. "And perhaps you should understand something. I'm not even in your HOA." That captured the neighbor's attention.
Porch lights activated up and down the street. Phones emerged. Someone whispered, "I'm calling the police immediately." Within minutes, the distant silence grew closer. Patricia's confidence wavered for the first time. Two sheriff vehicles rolled to a halt out front, lights flashing red and blue across the streets. Deputy Miller stepped out, calm, steady, and not interested in games. "What's occurring here?" he asked, scanning the scene. I raised my phone. "This individual broke into my garage and attempted to drag my son out. I restrained him. My garage camera captured everything." He raised a brow.
"You possess footage complete recording," I said, showing him the live feed. He leaned closer. The grainy video was clear enough. The fake HOA compliance logo across the vest, Liam flinching as the man struck him, the rough hold as he tried to pull him toward the driveway. Patricia's composure cracked another inch. "This is being interpreted completely incorrectly." She started stepping forward. "He was following a compliance," Miller interrupted her. "Ma'am, impersonating an officer, that's a felony, and assaulting a minor. You'd better begin explaining why your so-called enforcer is wearing tactical equipment and attacking children." Patricia froze. The deputy called for backup and turned to his partner. "Restrain him. Get the medical team to examine the child." Liam stepped out beside me, bruised but steady. He looked up at Miller and said quietly, "He stated he was taking me to the board." The deputy's jaw tightened. "The board doesn't transport children anywhere," he muttered. Neighbors began whispering louder now, cameras recording everything. Patricia looked like she wanted to vanish, her authority dissolving under the red and blue glow. Miller turned to me again. "You stated you're not part of the HOA?" "No, sir. Municipal line ends 3 blocks south. I verified it personally." He wrote something in his notepad. "That makes this trespassing and impersonation, not enforcement." Patricia's voice cracked. "You have no concept who you're confronting," she hissed. Miller looked unimpressed. "Ma'am, I believe everyone here does now." As the deputies led the fake HOA officer away, the neighbors applauded quietly. The man groaned, his arm hanging limp, muttering Patricia's name repeatedly. She stood frozen, clutching her clipboard like a shield that finally failed her. I looked at Liam, bruised but brave, and swore this would never occur again. The law would handle her next, but if she attempted anything else, I'd be prepared. If this neighborhood account has captured your interest, please like and subscribe because the consequences become even more significant. The sun was barely above the horizon the next morning when the sheriff called. I'd barely rested. Liam finally slept on the sofa around 3:30 a.m., still shaken. I stood in the kitchen, coffee cooling in my hands, staring at the garage camera feed that kept replaying in my mind. Deputy Miller's voice came steady through the phone. "We've obtained updates," he said. "You might want to visit the station." When I arrived there, the fake HOA officer, the same man who tried to seize my son, was in custody, sitting in the support brace. His right arm was shattered, 3 ribs broken completely through, 1 fractured. According to the documentation, the physician stated he'd be in the medical facility for at minimum 7 weeks before facing trial. I didn't feel remorseful about any of it. You assault a child, you confront the repercussions one way or another. Patricia, meanwhile, had collapsed faster than I anticipated. The deputies had discovered files in her vehicle, printed inspection reports, forged letters, and a list labeled non-compliant residences. Mine was marked in red. Turns out she'd been operating a rogue HOA compliance team. Several hired security dropouts dressed in dark gear with imitation badges, dispatched to intimidate homeowners who ignored her authority. Problem was, my home wasn't even under her jurisdiction, and impersonating law enforcement, that's a rapid path to state and federal charges. According to Miller, the DA's office had already filed impersonation of a peace officer, assault on a minor, criminal trespass, and false imprisonment, conspiracy to commit assault. Patricia tried to negotiate her way out of it, blading the man, claiming she didn't authorize violence. But the electronic communications found on her computer told a different story. Orders, schedules, payment records, it was all there. I'm pursuing every charge available, for my son and for every family they frightened. He nodded. You're performing the correct action. The district attorney is already constructing the case. That afternoon, the local media picked up the story. Fake HOA enforcer attacks child exposed by special operations father. 1 week later, I received another update. The fake HOA officer transferred from the medical facility to county detention, still in the support brace. He'd face up to 12 years behind bars. Patricia, confronting a multiple felony counts, was sentenced to 5 years in state prison and a permanent prohibition from any HOA involvement statewide. The neighborhood finally felt peaceful again. Liam was back in the garage completing the motorcycle we'd been working on. I leaned against the doorway, observing him tighten the fasteners. He looked up. "It's concluded, correct, Dad?" "Yes," I said, watching the relocation vehicle haul away what remained of Patricia's belongings. "It's concluded." And this time I meant it, not because I heard him, but because I ensured it would never occur again. You assault a child, you confront the repercussions. But what about the other families living in fear of this rogue HOA? The investigation revealed Patricia had targeted multiple households who resisted her authority. One family abandoned their home after constant threats. An elderly couple paid excessive penalties to avoid confrontation. This pattern of intimidation extended throughout our community. The district attorney expanded the inquiry, uncovering systematic harassment of homeowners who challenged the HOA's jurisdiction. And the most shocking discovery? Patricia had connections with local officials who ignored her operations. But that's content for another video. If you want to witness how we exposed the entire corrupt network and protected neighborhood rights, ensure you're following this channel. If this narrative of defending family and home resonated with you, please support our channel by liking this video and subscribing to Winds of Thought for more authentic stories that merit attention.